Molajuri village, Southern Sudan. A family prepares dinner at sunset. One of about 50 villages in Eradication County endemic to the debilitating guinea worm disease. At risk are the wandering cattle herders and the villagers who drink from unsafe water sources, which can harbour the infected water fleas that carry the guinea worm larvae. Very few villages in southern Sudan have access to safe drinking water. 33-year-old Taban Simon is a local health worker with the Southern Sudan Guinea Worm Eradication Program, working with the Carter Center. He's an area supervisor, overseeing dozens of volunteers. From his base at Molajuri, he and his dedicated guinea worm prevention team work tirelessly to implement the program's intervention strategies, trying to convince people to always filter the water they collect from the ponds, distributing water filters, including pipe filters for drinking water. Only 16% of the villagers in southern Sudan can access safe drinking water, and because there's no medicine or vaccine against guinea worm, the campaign hinges on health education to change behavior to prevent the disease. New mother Puru was recently recruited as a village volunteer, part of Taban Simon's local network of guinea worm health workers. She lives in Senwe village. Just a day after she and her farmer husband, Garbino, celebrated the birth of their first child, he was devastated to discover a searingly painful blister forming on his foot, the dreaded sign of a guinea worm growing inside his leg, getting ready to emerge. To help Puru cope with the demands of caring for both her newborn baby and her husband's debilitating disease, her supervisor Taban Simon cycles daily to Senwe. Together, they clean Garbino's wound, and over more than a week they painstakingly work to coax the fiery worm out of his body. It's an excruciatingly painful process. After dressing the wound, Puru moistens the bandage to further tempt the worm out. To add to Garbino's hardship, his 10-year-old brother has recently drowned while tending the family's herd of cattle at camp nearby on the Nile River. But life must go on. Assisted by a friend and with his face covered in the ash of a mourner, Garbino limps off to sell his goats at market, several kilometers painful walk away. A chance encounter along the road with Carter Center Regional Coordinator James Madull, who spots Garbino's bandaged foot. James gives Garbino a personal water filter pipe to carry with him at all times, reminding him that in order to avoid getting guinea worm disease, he must filter the water each and every time he drinks it. At nearby Yari village, area supervisor James Lackey holds up a guinea worm extracted from his patient, Dario Mair's leg. A few days before, James had noticed Dario limping and, recognizing a telltale symptom of guinea worm disease, quickly intervened to help. With village volunteer Santino, James treats Dario's guinea worm wounds, which he has in both legs. As Santino carefully winds the slowly emerging guinea worm around moistened cotton wool to prevent it breaking and the wound becoming infected, he gently pulls on it, enticing it further out. Dario willingly agrees to show them the pond which infected him the second year in a row. At another nearby pond that was identified as contaminated, graphic posters erected by the Southern Sudan Guinea Worm Eradication Program show local children how to avoid guinea worm disease.
We'll practice this together.
Carter Center Technical Advisor Matt Ward gives his field officers a revision course in how to train the health workers they supervise in guinea worm eradication methods. The teams are preparing for Southern Sudan's peak transmission season, which coincides with the annual rains. No one is working harder to eradicate guinea worm disease than the Sudanese themselves. The team has a core of more than 13,500 passionate and dedicated volunteer health workers, foot soldiers of guinea worm eradication under the capable direction of the Southern Sudan Ministry of Health, and supported by 43 Sudanese and expatriate technical assistants from the Carter Center. Many of these individuals rose through the ranks and learned to read and write English through the program, although Taban Simon learned it in the Ugandan schools he attended as a refugee of Sudan's civil war. As guinea worm infection rates shrink, many of these trainees will filter into the Southern Sudanese Health Ministry, their training providing a valuable resource for the country.
It's nice to be with you. Thank you.
President Carter greets Taban Simon and his co-workers on a visit to Terekeka to evaluate the eradication program's progress. He applauds their work and self-sacrifice on the road to reaching zero cases.
We will not stop the efforts of the
Since 1995, when the program began, Sudan has reduced the caseload by an impressive 98%, despite continuing violence and threats to safety. In 2009 alone, Guinea worm staff were forced to stay home or inside their offices on more than 30 occasions, and at least half the cases of Guinea worm reported that year occurred in areas of insecurity. With Southern Sudan Program Director McCoy Samuel Yibi and Carter Center CEO John Hardman, President Carter observes while a village volunteer, Viviana Kolong, attends to Garbino's Guinea worm wound. It's the future of Sudan that motivates the village volunteers and health staff to work such long, hard hours. That children may grow up in a healthier Southern Sudan, one free from the pain of Guinea worm disease.